Okay. There you go.
So, good afternoon. Wanted to just, I chose to do my paper on Federico Mompou because I'm really infatuated with his music and something about his voicings and this sense of improvisation has definitely rung a bell to me. So,
Get this out of your way. And since you're behind us, you can take your mask off actually.
Okay.
That's the official
gotcha.
policy, so.
We'll see. Okay. So as I was saying, we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about Mompou and just a little bit of background, kind of like what you would do with Dr. Zeshan, we'll give you just a little bit of background on him. So from Barcelona, Spain, he was born in Barcelona, Spain. He actually is from Catalonia and French too as well. So two of those, I guess two mixtures of those upbringing. A little bit about him is that he actually, Enrique Granados actually wrote a letter of recommendation to get him into the Paris Conservatory. And actually, what drove this was actually he went to a concert of Fauré, actually, and then that's really what kind of drove him kind of into, into the art of composition. So similar to Debussy and Eric Satie and Ravel and Fauré, something about this unactuated bar lines and meters, or being able to play out of time, you know, to be able to expand in space and timbre and texture. This is kind of his style a little bit though too as well. One in particular thing that I did write about his music that's very influential. You'll notice how, I may be able to say this right, but it's new primitivism, where this state of going back to, as he would say, go back to the medieval period. Something about, I guess, the art really affected him, and so I guess he wanted to infiltrate that to his music, where the music kind of just leaves you at a state of awe or bliss or trance, so to speak, a little bit. So I'm gonna play maybe like the first bar of this a little bit, and this piece right here in particular, it's called, this is from his Impressionism Intimas. This is number 1 from the suite of 9 pieces. And you see that there is no time signature at all. So when I was playing this, I was like, well, what does he want me to do? I don't know. But if you analyze it a little bit, you can kind of figure out what he's kind of doing a little bit. So it seems as if 8/4 and 6/4 and some of those like just symmetrical meters a little bit, it kind of elongates and kind of creates these big phrases and everything. So you can kind of phrase it however you want to phrase it. So this opening kind of sounds like this, actually. Cadence or nothing like that, kind of just leaves you in a state of awe. And then the second piece of this is actually just a continuation of that, where he kind of focuses on maybe on drone notes more than anything. So you have like this opening material. way and how it kind of resolves and nothing like that.
It is, I can hear Foray with that very much.
So the voicing, the drone notes,
Right.
you hear the E's, and then in a sense it is kind of like Debussy, because there's some material that, you know, that may come back again, but I think when it gets down to the new idea of the, it kind of sounds similar to like how, what was it, so I thought that was interesting. I kind of put two and two together a little bit with that.
But you said there was a neo-primitivist strain as well.
I feel like that, yeah. Kind of just, yeah,
it's
just kind of
interesting combination.
Exactly. It kind of just leaves you at a place of where it's, I guess it's uncertainty. I guess it's kind of obscure in a sense, but there's a sense of beauty within the obscureness too as well. I feel like.
Like a impressionistic.
Exactly. Pushing towards that. So I really feel like he really. This was actually the funny thing about this piece was actually I didn't realize when I was doing research on him, he actually was in the military, and he was called into the war. Something happened where I guess he did not go into the war, so he actually composed these pieces, and I think it's like maybe 6 pieces, and this is one of the pieces that he did during that time. So maybe that could have been a reflection of his own feelings plus the war, which was going on at that time. So that's.
But he just called the collection just 6 pieces or 9 pieces.
Well, it's called the Impressions and
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. That's
yeah.
what you said that.
And it's 9 pieces from this set. I guess.
Intimas.
Yeah, Intimas.
Wait, this is Spanish, right?
It is.
Isn't it? Yeah, okay. So he didn't use it. Okay, I see.
Yeah. And I tried to do some research to figure out where there's some titles for each pieces actually, and it was kind of hard to find that. I didn't necessarily find it for like 1, 2, 3 if it was called something else. So that's these 2 pieces, and then there's a piece that I recently composed called Obscure, but I wanted to play something similar to what this sounds like actually. I'm gonna give him the credit that he's due, because I don't want to take his stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's called Secret or Secreto.
I never got a chance to.
Oh boy. Oh, YouTube. Love it, hate it. That's a beautiful, beautiful piece.
It really is actually.
Until that point.
But yeah, until the Doritos. Like,
That's pretty much the idea that continues to keep repeating. It's just repeated material.
I mean, it's so much Debussy, Ravel, dance, that often like refers to dance rhythm. So some kind of repeating pattern. Not all the music, I just mean that that's often you find that. Think of the pavans, the Foray pavan, or the Ravel pavan.
Just find it to be interesting that this is in C sharp major.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
And
Interesting.
there's like some F sharp minor, B minor stuff kind of going on a little bit. Maybe it's the tension between the B and D sharp. So with playing that, I actually composed a piece called Obscura. And you'll probably hear definitely this 20th century kind of stuff in there a little bit.
So one movement piece.
Yeah, it's like,
Is it?
it's actually like just one piano piece right now, actually, but I'm still kind of editing it. But I wanted to play for you what I had thus far.
Gotcha.
So, it's in F sharp minor. There's definitely some tonality in there, but then there's definitely moments where it's kind of obscure in a sense.
Okay, sure.
And there it is. Just kind of just an idea just to give you kind of a sense of being able to use these both worlds kind of meshing together a little bit.
Do you want to ask questions real quick?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, any questions?
Okay. So what for you is, how would you differentiate what you're doing from what Mompou is doing? Like, we can hear some similarities. Like, how would you characterize, are there your departures? Or, what do you, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, so I think having an opening chord as opposed to just saying, okay, this is this kind of chord, maybe just an idea, maybe just like an opening statement, and then having some variation with the triplet and that kind of thing. And then
the rhythm is, I hear, is that you've got some triplet things in there. It sounds almost, but Habanera doesn't do that, but I'm trying to think if there's some, is a Spanish dance that has a triplet?
Yeah, so I use similar to the obscure, the secreto piece,
Sure,
and I have that part. I just kind of use that, but I don't think we're doing the same thing actually, because I kind of put a mordant in mine.
Oh, sure, yeah, I hear differences. Yeah.
So maybe there are some moments where it may have like a Baroque kind of thing going on a little bit with some of the trills a little bit, little mordants. But I told Dr. Mann that sometimes with composing, not all the time, but I do like to leave people at a place of uncertainty sometimes, where they don't quite know what's going on.
The harmony sounds more chromatic than Mompou to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm still working on it, but
Sure.
I think just the overall structure of it, it's kind of just an idea. But I actually do bring this idea actually, because there's actually 2 more pages along with this piece. I just wanted to play this the
Sure,
first
good
two.
for you.
And that's pretty much it, but if there's no questions.
Is this a new departure for you, or in terms of following a composer like Mompou, have you always been interested in, say, Debussy and Ravel? What did you sound like before this piece?
I had a lot of Mendelssohn, Beethoven, Brahms kind of stuff going on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like it's pretty much just traditional harmony stuff. But something about that was just rich to me. And
What is that?
so that's a piece that I came up with a long time ago called Impromptu in B minor.
Okay.
I just kind of had like.
Do you remember? Can you play?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was
Right.
some things, and then also the Earl came too as well. I thought about that last
really?
cadence.
This
The
yeah.
So that's what kind of made me that whole storm and stress or storm and drum
Right.
kind of approach a little bit.
Sure.
So we kind of veered off into other areas compositionally now. Really looking at timbre and texture and kind of figuring out how I can kind of infiltrate that to different instruments that I would write this for. Because even though this is for a piano, I could definitely see me writing this for maybe like a trio or something, like oboe or a few other instruments.
Sure. But the piano, you obviously have, you think through the piano. I mean, all of us have an instrument that we just think through that instrument. I still feel violin fingerings no matter what I'm looking at or hearing. And so those sonorities, I mean, I like the sonorities you're getting from your piece. That even the really thick chords work in a way that I think only a pianist would hear. You know, so yeah, good. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I think that was good. Yeah.
Pieces.
Yeah.
What else did you? Well, I guess you can have your juries in the spring. But so the French influence is more of a new departure.
Yeah.
Because you came in talking a lot about Debussy. Is it through the studies here? So that was really very much here.
Yeah, it was actually.
Okay.
You know, I think it was when me and Lynn took the analytical techniques class, and I think the first piece you played was the Bond. It was, you know, something about that chord that just kind of struck something in me. And so I actually did compose a few pieces, and I kind of used I used that same idea actually. Just transpose the
Do you play jazz? Do you play
a little bit, but I'm not like a jazz pianist.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know.
You have an affinity for it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's always this combination of you know, Brahms, you know, and if I'll just you know, like, you know, that kind of stuff. So I guess there's like a combination between Brahms and Debussy kind of meshed in with mine.
Yeah, there are ways to intermix. I mean, the Debussy himself is part Wagner. And he was fascinated by Wagner's Romanticism, but he didn't want to deploy them in quite the same way. So he was in a similar position.
But it was actually here, and it was your class, and I guess being in this environment, something about that probably struck something in me to kind of explore music of Debussy and more so texture and timbre like that. Focus on it.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Any questions from you guys?
I don't.
Okay.
No question.